Welcome to Sage-Based Wisdom. I'm Jana Schmieding.
And I'm Brian Bahe.
And we're podcasting to you from the sacred homelands of Madewell.
Today, we'll be giving you, our listeners, some advice cultivated indigenously from our background in skydiving.
And collecting non-rare DVDs, hard media.
But first,
we have a special guest. Make
some noise.
Yeah, make some noise.
Make some noise.
Turn
if you're 6'4" or above.
You've seen him on Spotify, iTunes, the internet.
Gold Diggers IRL.
Gold Diggers IRL, touring the country. He's a musician. He's a composer.
You've seen him on the sidewalk when his car broke down.
You've seen him in Arizona, in Phoenix, when his car broke down.
One of my lesser known ones.
You've seen him on Reservation Dogs. Give it up for musician Mato Wayuhi, Lakota brother.
Thank you for having me.
We have a caller.
Let's get into that caller.
For you.
Okay. Hi, caller.
This is going to be sweet. Okay.
To your eyes, you know.
Ooh.
Huh. Wrong caller.
In your eyes, the light, the heat, your eyes. Mm-hmm.
What's up, Res Dogs family? This is Carly calling in from Chumash territory in West LA. And my question for Mato is, what do you do when you have a friend going down the wrong path to your eyes, you know, like...
But also that.
What do you do?
That pause was crucial.
You try not to jerk. And, you know.
You be very gentle.
You know, like doing some messed up doo-doo, and you want to steer them in the right direction, but you also want them to learn their lesson on their own, right?
Oh.
And not interfere maybe too much. What might you do in that situation? Just food for thought. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
That's a good question.
That is.
It's really good.
I don't think we've ever gotten a question like that.
No.
Have you ever had that situation where you have homies that you're like...
Most homies, yeah. They've all. I mean, I've been that homie too, you know, where you're like, yeah, I think. And it's funny too if you have the, you know, if it's depending on the severity of it, but like when you're on the other side and you kind of like get out of that and you talk to your friends and you're like, hey, how was that for you? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, you were not there. Like you were, you know what I mean? Like you were kind of on one.
When a friend sort of calls you in or is like, hey, you're not going down the right path.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple of those.
Well, you being the friend or being
the one who's kind of fucking up. But it hasn't been like your life is in shambles. It's been more like, why are you acting like this right now?
Yeah. Yeah. My first foray into being that friend was in high school because I had a propensity to do some extracurricular activities.
What are we talking?
Drugs.
Yeah,
I was.
I'm your girl.
I was. Yeah, I was shit-assing pretty frequently.
Same.
And
That's
it was. Yeah, so I was up to zero good, and my sister.
Wait, what are we talking? Are we just talking like weed? Are we dabbling in hallucinogenics? Are we doing like uppers, downers, all the above? A lot of booze? Is
Poppers.
it just like poppers?
Not yet,
Brian
but-
wants to know.
I just taught Sterling what poppers are. By the way,
That's so
What a
funny.
homophobe! And you heard it here first. If you don't know what poppers are, you don't know any gay people.
Right. It was really fun. And so anyway, so growing up, it was a very straight edge household. There were like no drugs in the house. And so when my parents split up, it's not like I had a leash. It was like there was no leash. And because there was no literacy
Leash
rate
is
for
off.
either, like there was no literacy rate, I think because I was with my mom, my dad had left, and it was like, my mom didn't really know how to like police because we didn't ever talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I didn't know how to do drugs because I didn't see them growing up because you know how natives, all that shit. And so,
How old were you like this time?
I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 8th grade going into freshman year.
Yeah, I was
sort of.
freshman year
Yeah, yeah.
basically. Like the first time I smoked weed was 420, 2013?
2011.
2011, 2012, something like that. But yeah, I was 15 and I smoked weed. And I remember my first high thought was we had Century Theaters in South Dakota, and I was like sitting in the back seat really looking, and I was like, they should make a Millennium Theaters and like run them out of business. I told everyone and no one cared, and I was like, fuck you guys. Anyway.
In a way that has legs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
fucking wisdom in this. Anyway, so but yeah, and then it was just I just devolved. And like I also, the first time I got like pissed drunk, I didn't even know that alcohol, there were differences. I thought it was kind of all the same thing. I thought it was like gummy candy. It's like it's kind of all the same. But like that's what I thought alcohol was. So it was like I had a beer, and I had like 3 or 4, and then I had all this other thing in my first high school party. And so I was like, yeah, it was just, and so then I kept on that path. And my sister was the first one, because I called her, and I have 2 older sisters, and so I called my younger older sister who was in college, and I called both of them actually separately. And
What's her name?
Oldest is Iris, and second oldest or younger oldest, I don't know how to describe.
Middle child.
Yeah, middle child. The middle child is Micah.
Micah?
Yeah.
You and me, Micah.
Yeah.
I'm a middle child. My little brother Brian, not you, other Brian Schmieding, is the youngest of 2 older sisters. Y'all were raised right.
Yeah, no, it's such a privilege, such a privilege. And
It
we're
is.
also like, we can be, yeah, I was such a headache for them,
Yeah.
you know? And so like, they were both like, yo, you are not being cute right now. And I know it's like hoo hoo ha ha fun, and I was like, no, you guys don't know anything. And so I had to learn, I got busted all which ways everywhere. I got busted by my mom, by the law, so I took a couple, as a man, it took a couple of times for me to really like, okay,
You know,
yeah, I'm fucking up.
as a man.
Yeah, as a man. And so that's how I kind of got. And then by the time I got into college, I was pretty like, I wasn't really doing drugs anymore, and I was able to. But yeah, I got all of that shit out in high school, thankfully, in a somewhat safe way. But yeah, and then after that, I would have friends who, you could tell that something's up and things like that. But I just grew up with such like great people who gave me such good in Lakota. It's woke sape, wisdom.
Woke sape.
For your dome. Yep, there you go. And my brother-in-law.
Stay woke, Sape.
Sape, come on.
that
Sape's
book.
watching this like, what? But yeah, he's like my big brother, my brother-in-law. He told me when I was young, before I got in trouble with the law, so I didn't listen, I don't listen the first time apparently. And he was like, when you're 18, you are no longer responsible for any other adults. You are only responsible for yourself. And it's going to get you're going to be in situations where you feel like you're responsible for other adults, but you are not. You are only responsible for yourself. You need to understand that. Gave me a good game. And so that was internalized to me though, growing up. Like once we all became adults, I was like, okay, I can definitely care for and support friends and stuff, but they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And I can like give as much advice as I want. And it's interesting too, to get maybe, Brian and I would commiserate on this, is like I became friends with younger folks, like just a couple years younger than me, and then I became like a big brother figure. But then I was like overcompensating. I was like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to come on. They're like my little like play toys or something. They're like my little younger siblings. And but I learned also the give and take of that too, of not to be too domineering and let them fuck up and everything, because it's like you learn so much from doing that. And it's scary. Like I feel like, Carly, probably it's like a real thing. But like, I guess my advice overall is to like zoom out a little bit, maybe know whatever the context is of their situation. having kind of a little bit of an understanding of it and like what they're moving through, you know, and support them. But also like, I don't know, you have to like, I remember like my first like toxic relationship. You could have said everything
100%.
to me and I would have and it would have went straight out of my asshole.
Oh,
and
for
like
sure.
and like I didn't listen to anything and people were like, brother in Christ, like you
Yeah.
gotta stop.
Yeah.
Like you got and making I had to go on an apology tour after I broke up with him. Like I legit had to be like, I'm sorry, hey, I'll be in Des Moines next week. Like it was so bad because everyone was like, no.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen because I had to. Some things like that. And I think with drugs too, I think you do like hopefully like, and it's a weird thing to say, but it's like, I don't know, you have to really like be there, be loving, and also like understand the boundaries that you have in place with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like you can't be like an enabler, but it's also to sometimes people are really, really fragile to like any sort of like authority or any sort of lecturing, because then that internalizes the shame and then the addiction, all that stuff. So it's like such a delicate thing, and I think the best thing you can do is like have a distance from it, and be there, but like you know also
yeah.
Boundaries are a gift.
Boundaries are a gift. I mean, shout out to this caller for like even clocking that their friend needs some type of like
You've had friends
guidance.
like this though.
Yeah, but I mostly
What do you do, Brian?
I cut them out of my life.
Yeah, you abandon. You go full
I
Homer
abandon-
Simpson into the bush.
I think I a little bit I hint at them needing to clean their act up. But
wow, it's really messy in here. Are you moving?
I'm like, oh, so this is happening.
That's so great. Oh my god.
But that was like when I was younger. That was like college age, and I think I like wasn't really prepared for that
You know
because
what?
I was
Yeah.
kind of going through the same thing, and I was like, I can't figure out how to like tell you how to live your life when I like don't have
Yeah.
the answer either. But I just know what you're doing is not good for you.
Yeah, or maybe not good for you. That's something
Whoa.
you don't want to fucking be involved
Super
in.
fast.
You know?
Yeah.
Lakota.
Hell yeah. But also, what? Here's something that maybe our caller might benefit from. When I went through college many moons ago, I graduated college in 2005, and I went to college for 5 years. So, I went like what I noticed was a lot of mental illnesses that are like, especially with young men, happen in those early 20s years, like late teens, early 20s is when you're going to start seeing some of your peers and your friends exhibit signs of some severe mental illnesses. And like, I noticed that there were some people who were in my life, because I was a theater major, like, all kinds of folks in theater, very, very different folks, and a lot of very eccentric people who found their home there. And some of those eccentric folks started to exhibit real signs of sort of dissociation and delusion, and like there was like, oh, okay, this is not just like this person's high as hell, this is like this person's getting high as hell to protect them from what else is happening in their mind, or
Right.
like, we're finding them like walking around at night by themselves, just like sort of not, like really serious stuff. So
Yeah.
it is something to kind of look out for. And I think we don't talk about it enough, but like those kind of late adolescent years, you will start to see people going off in like different mental health directions. And we are all ill-equipped to deal with that. No one, I feel like, unless you're like raised by two exceptionally like talented shrinks, I truly don't know. Even that might even be fucking
That's
bad
still
training.
bad, yeah.
Like I don't know.
If they're
because-
Lakota, then it's better.
It is,
exactly.
truly.
That's not
Only
everyone
then.
has that luxury.
Then and only then.
Yeah.
But I think we would do right by ourselves to do a little bit of research about sort of psychology of people and knowing like developmentally what happens to people
Yeah.
as we grow up, because
Have you all been that friend? The shit-assing friend? The one that's like, had the whatever the turmoil was, and then you like you might have been blind to when you were in it, and then you got out and you're like,
I don't think for me, not really anything major. Just kind of like small stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have been the other friend, the friend who is sort of noticing, and I've been that to like siblings and friends and people, family and friends. And I unfortunately feel like all my life I've sort of had to kind of have it together.
yeah, feel
And
that.
have been on that end of the burden.
Mm-hmm.
So I am kind of in my fuck up era, even though.
Ooh.
Right now.
But we've talked about this. Like,
Yeah.
I think we all should be. If
Okay.
you're doing well, if things are going well, not like I'm gonna fuck up my life, but like
I'm
let
like, wait, you're
let
making me be like, wait, do I need to fuck up my life?
yeah,
no,
I'm
because
so.
you're not in your fuck up era, Bri.
Okay.
I am. I need to and I've talked about this with my therapist. Like, I need to kind of fuck around a little bit and be
Right,
a little
right.
less by the book and
Sure.
a little more, little less safe about
That's so hot.
and
Oh my
caring less about what people think of me and shit.
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
really cool.
Wow.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And that's actually what this Age of Aquarius is all about for you, I think.
Age of Aquarius.
I can see it for you. I can see this for you.
What?
That
The
this
Age
your
of
fuck up era. You're really just
Yeah.
kind of like you're knocking down doors.
And that is famously what the Age of Aquarius is
And
all
you're
about.
and you're kind of being like, what's going on in here?
Yes.
Wow, I like that. I think I might relate to that too.
Are you also kind of in your
in my fuck up
mess,
area?
messy era?
Well, I got fired for the first time a couple months ago.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was
How
pretty.
did it feel?
It sucked 2 dicks.
Oh.
It was really crazy, and like,
Did you like the job?
No, not
Okay.
at all. Yeah, it was very much like there were intrinsic feelings of like, this is not good. Like, this is. I'll go. I'll tell
why
you
did they
all about it
Okay.
off camera. But what was your question?
Why did they fire you?
In creative, differences. Da, 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 da. Yeah. It was a slow burn of a fire of like.
Damn.
Was it creative differences in your mind?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think because it was for a scoring gig, and it was funny too because to go back to end of 2024, I was with shout out Iris, my oldest sister. I was with her in DC, and we went out to eat, and we were talking about the next year and kind of things we wanted to do and whatnot. And I said to her, I was like, I really my goal for next year is to scoring is great. I just have gotten comfortable, and I have kind of have an innate thing to be uncomfortable, I guess.
I love a challenge.
Yeah. And so I was like, I want to do that, and I want to act more. That was like my big thing. I was like, I want to act more, and so the fucking rubber met the road because I'm scoring this thing, and it's getting weird. Like how it is. Like there's just it's contract weirdness. It's just all weird. It's just getting weirder, and then I get an email that was like, "Hey, let's have a quick call about the thing." And
Whoa.
and I knew my heart started racing, and I was
Yeah.
traveling too, so I like get off the plane and I'm just like awaiting this call. I'm like literally looking out at O'Hare. It's like a rainy afternoon, and I'm just watching Delta flights kind of like teeter across.
Shout out the O'Hare bathrooms though.
I've,
They're really good. The toilets are so good.
Really?
What?
I think
Why?
do they have
know.
bidets or am I misremembering?
No, I would
that's-
never use
that's
a
Midway,
fucking
I think.
airport
Okay.
bidet.
I feel like the toilets there were crazy nice.
I know they have nuts on Clark.
Yes.
Yeah. that's the
Brian
extent of
Bahe
it.
out here using an airport bathroom bidet. Disgusting.
I like to think there was just water spraying
Something
out.
about
Was
something
it?
about I'm like either it was heated or like something was
Maybe someone
very-
sat on it recently.
There was another person in there with me.
There you go. There you go. Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
crazy.
kidding.
The splash was amazing. The toilet was warm.
And nuts were on Clark.
Nuts on nuts.
So yeah, I get the call, and yeah, they were just like, hey man, so just want to say first off, da 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 da. And yeah, but that's all to say, like, I got fired, and I've never been fired before. Thankfully, it's my first time getting fired. And it was, like life changing. I was like, oh my God. And I wasn't like, I didn't love it, so I wasn't heartbroken, but it was like you go through that whole grief cycle of like, I'm not good enough. I'm like, and you get scared about money, all this types of stuff.
Right.
But that was literally like in tandem with an acting role, which is like literally what I wanted for the year. And it was interesting because it was like, I really needed to get fired to believe in myself more in this other part of my like artistry, you know? And with that,
it's sort of like creator was like, slam the door on this part of your life.
Yeah.
Right now.
And also I bring that up because like the fuck up era thing is like, y'all know this with performing and acting, like you have to really bring every spectrum of your like what you can exude and emote, you know? And I needed to like be able to do that because when you score and stuff, it's like you're you know, fitting what they want.
Yeah.
They do like
it's a deep collaboration.
Yeah, they do want surprise, but it is like what that job specifically was very much like almost like clerical.
Yeah.
Like I want something. And so that wouldn't let me fuck up. You know what I mean? But with the acting stuff and the role that I got to play was very dynamic. And like it actually encouraged me to like be more unwieldy and like be weird and like explore those parts of myself, and it was so fucking fun. Like it was so cool. And like, but I had to get fired to do that. I had to like let go of that chapter. And not to say I'm done scoring, but like that was a major thing of like, oh damn, the door, creator was like, you're done.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I
it was
love that.
fucking but it was all very kismet. It was like
Yeah.
it had to happen, you know what I mean?
I love that.
Me
That's
too.
really cool, and that reminds me of a TikTok.
I was gonna say when you got fired from Fuddruckers and
Shout out to being fired. I feel like I've been fired.
Brian's like been fired the most of anyone in the world.
Listen, I think
Wow.
it's a beautiful experience to be fired. I like feel really happy that I've been fired so many
I
times.
love that about
I think there
you.
is something to like having every type of experience.
I agree.
And it's like we should all get fired at least once in our life.
I agree.
We should all quit at least once in our life.
100%.
A job. We
Yes.
should
We should get dumped. We should dump.
Yeah.
We should get fired. We should quit.
It's so I think it's all really
Yeah.
informative to just like what we're capable of.
Yeah. and
How we
also,
respond, how
I
we
think
react.
It's good for the soul to like have a little adversity.
Totally.
Just to get
Yeah.
checked by the universe every now and then. Like,
Yeah.
Humble yourself, bitch.
Just to be
You're
like
not that cool.
And also just to be checked and also get a check in and be like,
Yeah.
am I doing what I actually want to do?
Yeah.
Super big.
Yeah, for Super the TikTok, the TikTok reminded me of. I would almost so the TikTok was basically this guy talking about how there's a hiring manager who hires like lucky people. And they describe the luck being like a self-fulfilling prophecy of just like some people think of themselves as lucky because they just attribute like things that they accomplish or whatever to like luck or whatever. But it's actually
wait,
like them.
Is it the manager talking to the camera going, I only hire lucky
I think it's
people."
like he interviewed a manager. It wasn't him saying it. He was talking about a manager that he knew of
got
or
it.
something.
Okay.
Oh.
And so it's kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy of like people feel that they're lucky, but it's not luck. It's like them being prepared and having like done stuff and like, you know, opportunity meets whatever and they just like get the thing that they want or have been working for but they just refer to it as luck, you know, because it kind of feels like that sometimes.
Sure.
And I almost feel like that's what happened.
Yeah.
You may have gotten lucky, but it's actually something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like luck is sort of it is a little bit magical, but things that are real that could replace luck are lack of interest, preparation, privilege, you know, like things that are like, for example, maybe you just weren't as engaged in that shit, you know, maybe you were just kind of like phoning it in because you needed to phone it in because you want to be focusing on this other job.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, and as an actor, like I am interested to hear, Brian, your thoughts about this too. Like, I know God, I want this pilot to get picked up so fucking bad. And for one big reason, because this kind of a job, being on a TV show for a long period of time, you have to focus. It's one job. And I right now have 5 fucking jobs. I have writing shit. I am fucking doing the podcast. Like there's just all these fucking little plates that you're spinning as a creative person. But when you're on set and you're like in a acting role that requires your daily presence, it's just like you have to basically say no other jobs right now. I just have to focus on this one. I can maybe handle a little bit of other things going on, but like it's really fucking hard to do that.
Just like one
to have one job. And I feel like in my entire life I've never just had one thing to do. But on Rutherford, I realized like I can't fucking do. I'm here from like 4 a.m. till 8 at night. I get home, I have to memorize my lines for tomorrow, and then go to sleep, and then I wake up and do it all again. There's literally actually no time in the day to give to anything else, and I don't want to give my energy to anything else because this is what I love doing, you know? So I feel like, you know, you're whether you want to or not is what I'm saying. Like you are kind of getting fired. You're close to getting fired. That's how we all should be behaving. If we don't like a job or if we're not fully engaged with a job, we should have one foot out the door.
Yeah, and I'm a side quest queen. Like I love doing multiple things, but to your point, it's you literally like fracture your ability to fucking be there. You know what I mean? And like, so I think that was a big thing too of like, no, cut off the limb. Sever it. And like, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's I hope that shit gets picked up too. NBC.
Jobs for everybody.
Yeah.
All the Indians. How did you feel about that, Bri? Were you like you were going off and doing fucking stand up at night though?
Yeah, because
that's so hot. Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
I know. Brian has like
I feel like if
the hustle of a young person.
I will say I don't know if I'll ever be able to not want to do as many things as I can. You know, I think it is like a luxury to be able to focus. And sometimes I'm like, if I have like a free night or whatever, I'm like, let's fucking do some shit. I don't know.
100%.
But I also think I probably would not have done those shows if I did not have a show booked at the end of the net, like the day after we wrapped.
Right.
You know, like that I was doing like a longer headline-y type of set.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have done the stand-up shows.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like because Brian and I had a show in Portland the night. We wrapped on a Friday, and then he and I had a show on Saturday that we did. And I told him on Friday, I was like, I can't do shit. I can't fucking write anything. I haven't had any time to like write, to like punch up my set. I can't. We have to do like take advice or like do podcast stuff. I have to be able to just like go up there and like intro you and banter for a little bit. And I just can't prepare anything. I haven't had time. We did. That's what we did. We ended up just being able to like
amazing. It was so fun.
It was pretty great.
It was pretty good. We knocked it out of the park.
Turns out all I have to do is go to sort of a spa or like have some kind of experience wherever I'm performing and hopefully the experience is like pretty bad.
Hell yeah.
And then I just make fun of it.
Yeah. And that's what life is.
Yeah, and that's life. That's comedy. Hey.
That's so for you all from a comedy standpoint, what is the writing process like for you in terms of being on stage or anything sort of, because I don't know shit about shit, and that's fascinating to me.
For stand up, sometimes it changes, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like lately it's like I'll have an idea that's just like a thesis or something like that. Like right now I have my thesis that I will attempt to work out that I haven't worked out. I think I told you this, but I think that Soul Food is the most Native American movie ever made.
Okay, word.
And I barely remember. I like saw it as a child many times because my mom loved the movie, but it's the most like over dramatic, like people are like screaming at each other. People are like crying. It's like, I'm like, nobody is like this. But then if I take a step back, I'm like, my family's like this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how can I turn that into something?
Hell yeah.
So it's kind of working backwards.
Okay, and then you go on stage and you like workshop it, or you kind of like.
I feel like I'm a person who I like to write out everything, and then almost me being on stage is like a weird like memorization of everything I've written.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But then when I'm comfortable in having memorized it, then I'll be able to like talk, like improvise and stuff within that framework of what I've written.
Yeah.
That's like my process. I'm very envious of the people that can go on stage with just an idea and then just like talk it out.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I really don't like the writing stand up because I don't know. I just, to me, it's like I feel like I do worse when I just write it down. But I also have never really given myself the opportunity to like develop a full long set.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, you know what I love about watching Brian and knowing his process is Brian will go up and I've seen him do the same jokes over, like many of the same jokes over and over. And he'll go up and he'll go, he'll be like, my new thesis is that soul food is a Native American film.
The crowd's dying.
And then the crowd is dead, and he'll go, okay. It's so funny. Every time he'll just be like, okay. And then
So
look in
great.
his little phone for the next joke.
Oh my God. I love
So
that.
yeah, there's like everybody's comedy is different and everybody's process is different. And I think the fun thing to me about having done comedy for so long and now watching comedians and learning their process is how do they fail? Like, how did they bomb? How do they recover from bombing? It's always the funniest thing to see how somebody, if a joke doesn't hit, how do they recover from that? That is always the thing that tickles me.
I think bombing is so
Fun.
I almost need it.
Oh,
in a
yeah.
way. In a weird way, I'm like, I actually
I think
need
you
to.
specifically sort of thrive off bombing.
Here's the thing. Okay, going back to the video of visualizing, I remember. I feel like I do that before shows. Sometimes when I like want to do well, but there are some times where I'm like, I almost want to know what it feels like to be to almost like to not visualize.
Yeah.
And to just go in so cold.
So cold.
And then to just like
You want to cool that audience down.
to flop so hard just to see if I can get out of it. And I usually can't, but I'm like,
bet you. But
I'm like,
that's
maybe
what's
I
funny.
can. But I'm like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, maybe I can this time.
No, I think that's very funny.
Yeah.
To sort of be like, the bit is that you are bombing and that you can't get out of it, or that you,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's like part of your stand-up persona is that you're just sort of this awkward sort of guy who doesn't know how to dig himself out of his own joke.
Yeah.
What if I fully committed to visualizing and I go full Sebastian Maniscalco, where I'm dancing on the stage. There's like I
don't
people
like
are
it.
screaming. People are screaming. Mato's in the audience screaming.
Of course.
And
Lilying rather. Yeah.
And that's kind of okay.
No, Bri, no.
Okay.
Don't realize your dreams ever.
That's so great.
Fair.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Cool.
I need some advice.
Oh,
I
you
wanna
do?
know. Yeah.
And you're bringing it to us?
Yeah. I mean, I've heeded a lot of advice from the pod.
You have?
as
Oh,
of-
yes, that's right. You are a listener.
I asked to be on this shit. I wanted to be in it.
This
you know
is a
what I mean?
first.
Well, so I want to know, because you are not dating anyone, right?
No.
Okay. Have you been? Well, okay.
Let's dig in.
I have a full.
This is what we
yeah.
want.
I need to. I want to know. How did you? What is your experience or anything with like knowing that someone is the one? I'm very fascinated by this. The one. You know what I
Whoa.
mean? And how was it for you?
Brian, have you ever known that somebody was the one?
No, otherwise I would be with them. Right?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that what the one
Have
is?
you ever been in love?
I've thought about this. I think I've had 2 pretty like intense connections with people.
And the connection was reciprocal.
I think so, yeah.
You think so?
I think so. I actually
You gotta know.
I don't think I
Visualize that it was.
You kind of gotta know, though.
I a little bit. I think I like.
Picked up the lemon.
I don't know.
My mouth is wet.
I guess that's why. Is I
Was
never
that
really.
the O'Hare Airport?
Me and the O'Hare toilet.
Steve, if you're listening,
And we know you are.
I actually like. Okay, for me, I was like, there's something here, but I think a little bit of me being unsure if it was the one, me calling it a connection versus calling it the one, was because I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Uh-huh.
Something in me was like, this isn't gonna work, so I almost don't even want to go further than we've gone. Because
Was it not going to work because you said so, or was there actually like?
because I said so.
Okay,
In my
okay.
head I knew.
Yeah.
Even though I did feel like a strong connection to this person.
Do you feel like you're with somebody who you're like, is this the one? Is that what you're saying? Or do you even want to go there on the pod? Have you had this? Have you had this experience recently?
Yeah.
Do you know how they feel about you?
Yeah, it's reciprocal.
So you've gotten further than me.
Yeah, some might say. Yeah. And so I'm curious, like, because I didn't even know, honestly, like full transparency, I didn't know. I thought that was kind of a gimmick, or I thought
The
that was
one?
the one thing. Because when you learn about,
I think it could be a gimmick.
well, when you learn about, capitalism and
Sure.
and communism,
Sure,
just
sure.
classical romantic shit. But you learn like romance is like literally like it's almost like a contrived thing to sell things sometimes too, like romance, the idea of romance.
Well, also the idea of romance is very appealing to us as people. Despite capitalism and politics, like the idea of the one is sort of something that we have been trained from very early on. you know? And I think so. So I feel like if we take it out of the one language and we just sort of say maybe like, this is a person I want a lasting connection with and I feel very close to them and I'm like wanting to pursue that closeness, then it sort of doesn't put the bounds of being the one. Like I feel like the one sort of traps you in a way. It creates this safety, this illusion of safety that is not real. It's any relationship, that illusion of unity, that illusion of connection, that illusion of like forever, it's not fucking real.
Yeah, and it's also I think it's irresponsible to like put that on somebody, you know. I guess a little bit like for you in terms of like what was like, all right, this is tight. Or like, you know what I mean? Like that turning point, or was there a turning point, or was that because you asked about like in previous scenarios, I've like there was always something speaking behind, there was always like this isn't going to work or something like that. And whether that was true or whether I made it up is kind of like,
for sure
what it is, but I don't know.
I'm having a strange experience right now in my relationship because I think I'm with a person that I want to be with for the rest of my life. And that could change. And I think that he and I both want to believe like we're going to be together forever.
Yeah.
But we also have to recognize that like we're mortal and one of us will die before the other one, which is already very fucking sad, and I've cried about it before.
Oh my
so
God.
has he.
Oh my God.
The acknowledgement that you're gonna be with somebody and the thought of them leaving is really fucking sad. And but also that could be true. Something could happen, minds could change. It happens to people all the fucking time. So I think that like putting any limits or bounds on it is you're sort of kind of fooling your fucking self if you think like this is the one forever. What is to me has been really delightful is just focusing on not only the connection that we have and fostering it and making it getting closer and closer and closer, even fighting with him is a new experience for me. I've never been with somebody who I could safely fight with or felt like I could safely fight with or argue with. And I feel like for myself, I am committing to it because it is making me a better person.
Yeah.
So if that is the feeling, I think that is a good feeling to chase. Is this a relationship where I feel like I'm being fostered as a person and that I'm having growth as an individual, while this person is having growth as an individual, and also our relationship as its own thing is growing. Like, that's worth chasing if you're in the mood.
Yeah.
A lot of times people aren't in the mood to I think relationships are so introspective. It's so hard. They're fucking hard because you're looking at your own shit all the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, I'm treating him like an asshole right now. Like, I got to change my fucking attitude. Or like, I'm having trauma about this. It's like I've watched so many fucking relationship blogs and read so many books now, and basically the overwhelming advice that I've read is being in a deep relationship, an intimate relationship with somebody is ongoing triggering. It's just being triggered all the fucking time and getting over it and learning how to navigate that in a safe way.
That's interesting. I'm also in an interesting place with your and Steve's relationship because because in Portland, I actually ended up spending a lot of time with both of you together in this setting because we were
Brian saw Steve in his underwear.
We were all in the same hotel,
Wow,
so I was constantly coming down to your hotel room, and it was just kind of almost like a nearly living, co-living type of experience.
I loved it.
And I was like, suddenly we're family.
We're family.
I'm in the back seat. You two are up front.
Yeah,
I'm
we're mom
I'm
and
your
dad,
child.
and Brian is our baby boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was. I'm on board.
I love it. To me, this is the life that I want to live. Is Steve is part of my family, and we are a unit. I don't know. So I guess to answer your question, Mato, there was never a turning point. There was never this is the one. It has been an ongoing question that I almost kind of ask myself every day. And I think, it's every day am I asking myself, do I want to keep pursuing it? And some days it's really easy to be hell fucking yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And some days it's a little bit whew, we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning about myself. And I'm getting out of it as much as, and the sex is great. Listen, if the sex is banging after year 3,
you're staying.
I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to fucking, I've never been a person who likes to have a lot of sex with a lot of different people. I'm not a Brian Bahe out here. I am in my. Hope he did the right camera. Hope he did the right camera with that wink. That'll be for you to find out, John. He'll have to find that wink and get it right. What was I saying?
Having sex with multiple people.
I'm in my hoe era with Steve because he allows me to be the hoiest of hoes with him. Wow. And I'm like, ooh, this is safe. And I'm I can do whatever I want with this person.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've never been the kind of person who can just have a one night stand with a stranger and be like, ooh, I'm so sexy and I'm comfortable and I'm having a good time. It's always been hard for me. So that's just the kind of.
I think it's an interesting space. If you're asking yourself, you stop asking why, and you only ask why not. You suddenly stop. You block out all the bad, and you're kind of let's focus on the good.
Yeah,
ooh.
That's an interesting feeling that I'm exploring right now. Is the thing of wow, there are no stop signs. There's no yield. There's no. It's just kind of
sort of green flag.
Yeah, and it's what I like about that feeling because it's brand fucking new. bro, I've never felt that before, which is really just exciting. But it's also very like breaking the fourth wall, zooming out and being like isn't this like to talk about it and it's not over like saccharine or like
Yeah.
It's more just like, isn't this fucking nuts?
Yeah.
And the other person's like, isn't this nuts? We're
Yeah.
both kind of like, huh, okay, well, and that's nice about
Yeah.
it. It's lighthearted, but it's also like deep, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. Yeah, it's really fascinating, and so it's been fun to like move through that, you know.
Let me
and
ask you
feel
this:
it.
have you guys farted in front of each other?
Yes.
Have you smelled their shit and have they smelled yours?
No, but we're open to exploring that. Yeah, we've talked about it. There has been some exchange of like bodily like gas, like burps and farts and things like that.
Okay, I love that.
Not at the same
Okay.
time,
I like
but
that.
No, right.
spaced out, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm
That's a
only a
great
man. As a man, I can't.
What? What is your rising?
Sagittarius.
Oh,
What does that mean to you, Bri?
Because
What are your? You're a Pisces, right?
No,
What are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
Sun Scorpio?
Yeah,
Oh my god! Why did I think you were Pisces?
I am
Water
a
sign.
Aries moon.
I'm Pisces moon.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Okay, wait. What is Sagittarius?
Okay, so
Rising.
in my TikTok, something's happening with Cancer risings / suns, Virgo rising / suns,
Okay.
Sagittarius rising / suns. Something astrologically is happening, specifically starting mid-June.
Okay.
Love
Yeah. Pride.
is there.
Yeah.
And it's there for the taking in a way. So I'm just like this actually makes so much sense to hear this from you.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
God. You know what didn't make sense is that. What?
We got there. Yeah.
The planets have aligned in a way.
Okay, so love is in the air.
Love is in the
Love's
air.
in the air.
Yeah.
From your local Hopi astrologer, Brian Hopi / Lakota astrologer Brian Bahe.
Can you imagine?
Lee.
Newfangled Lakota over here. Oh my god. That's amazing.
That's kind of a fun Sex in the City, but instead of a sex column, it's an astrology column.
Ooh.
And instead of the city, it's the Hopi Reservation.
Okay, write it down.
That's nice. I like that. That can coincide with, I think, TPOV.
Oh,
Like the point. You know what I mean? It's
you know,
kind of
sort
like
of sacred sex culture.
yeah. PG-13 into
Rediscovering,
X.
sort of.
It's we're skipping R.
Right. So
We're
fuck
going
all
right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck R.
Do they make like X stuff? Any like because remember?
Porn?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no movies like I wasn't alive, but they
Like
were
Pirates of the Caribbean, but sex.
Showgirls was
movies
X?
that were X-rated, like it's X-rated. like-
X-rated means softcore or like nudity, heavy nudity, and
Yeah, it was like sexual content, drugs. And
yeah.
X?
Yeah, it was.
It was rated X. Yeah, you thought X?
I
Like
feel like
the
that's just
flag?
R now.
Serious.
Yeah, when I think of X, I think of like Cinemax in a way.
Yeah.
It's like
softcore porn.
they're humping, but you don't see any genitalia.
No. You do see boobs. You just
You see
don't,
boobs
don't
and
see,
male butt.
Yeah, you see male butt and boobs, but no dick.
But you don't see male butt for a long time.
I hate no dick.
I
On
hate
shows.
no dick.
I
Thank
hate
you.
boobs and no dick. Come on.
It's very weird. It's so unrealistic.
It's
like,
so
what are you
whack.
talking about? I, on honor of pride, I have to say, I don't know your journey, but I had an interesting chapter of my childhood where it was like discovering just porn in general, really. And it was like you stay up later and HBO's on. And it's like, what is this now?
For
It just turns
sure.
into porn, right? It
Yeah,
used to.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if
Oh,
it does
yeah.
anymore.
Loved it.
And so there was this thing, and I've talked about it with other men before who have the same experience of like almost like soft launching their attraction to men, but in a joking way, to be like, isn't this funny? Look at this gay porn. Isn't this so? And like you
Wait,
like
there was gay porn on HBO?
no. Well, there was actually. Yes, there
Like
was.
gay soft porn?
Yes, there. Well, you know what it was? It was interesting. It was like behind the scenes. It was like the office of like soft core gay porn, where it was like they would show like behind. I know someone's gonna comment. They're gonna know what it is.
Please do.
But it was like it was a segment of a show that was like, hey, my name's Tim. I'm in today's scene. Da da da.
Wait,
that's
I love that
Eric.
shit.
Yeah, and then they would show the mechanics of filming gay porn. It was fascinating. And so I would have sleepovers with other boys when we were in elementary school or going into middle school. I'm not sure of the specifics of the age, but it would be on, and it was incredible. I was like, what is it? This is so...
Wait, Brian, did you have gay porn? Did you seek out gay content when you were young?
No, my journey was same. I would watch like HBO Cinemax free preview weekend
Sort of straight vibes.
and stay. It was straight, but I would focus on the guy.
You would visualize.
You would visualize.
I would just mostly watch the guy, and then we didn't get high speed internet until so late. So I was like in high school with dial up.
Yeah.
And I would like go to these sites and like wait for 2 hours to like watch a 30-second clip. And that was where I first saw gay porn.
Ooh.
But I was so terrified of it in like a very like Catholic type of way.
Religious, yes.
That I was like,
You had the fear of God.
yeah, I was like, uh-oh. And
I'm a bad boy.
Yeah.
I'm
But then I would
first.
always go back.
Sexy. That's
is
so
sexy.
sexy.
Thank you.
I was in the...
Thank you.
I remember when like YouTube popped
Dropped,
off, right?
yeah.
And they didn't have a delete history thing.
Uh-oh.
and I also, this was like in the chronology of my discovering of porn. I think this must have been pre HBO soft core gay porn.
Uh-huh.
And so I would go on, and I was still understanding the concept of YouTube. I was like, okay, this is like a website you can watch videos on, and like I can just type in things. It's like Google but for videos, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so naturally I typed in boobs first, and I saw there wasn't many a boob yet.
Yeah.
But then somehow I
Did you
got
type in breasts? Maybe you would have had better luck.
I didn't know that
Breasts.
word yet. I don't think I only knew
Jug,
I only yeah.
every variation.
Titties.
Knockers.
But I remember I got somehow onto boy Bratz dolls kissing. So it was Bratz dolls
What?
with their shirts off and just
Wait, it's like people making the Bratz
yes,
dolls kiss.
and I was transfixed. I couldn't
Boy
look. It
Bratz
was
YouTube Kids, but
dolls.
like X-rated YouTube.
Yeah.
Kids.
Boy,
it-
Bratz dolls is so funny.
It was hot, and so I'm watching this. But I'm also realizing like, wait, I can't delete the history. And it's the family computer. So
Yeah.
everyone's using that shit. And I wasn't even, there was no sort of like stimulation there was nothing I was doing. I was just watching it like taking notes, I
Transfixed.
guess. Yeah. And so, but I knew that everyone was going to be on that shit. So I had to, I got caught. And I remember I got called downstairs and my dad was like, son, you can't be doing that. Like you can't be searching those types of things.
He was
Wait,
like-
and what was
he
the
was like,
search
girl
he was
brats only?
referring to?
Or no?
The search was boy Bratz dolls kissing?
Yes.
Wow.
It was that boy brat and boobs, and it was just it was
Gotcha.
felonious things. I was
That's
it was tough. I was cluttering.
that is my worst nightmare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is horrifying.
So I kept doing it. But I learned
Bad boy.
I did this thing of like I would search it, I'd watch it, and then I would then do like bullshit searches to then cloud
Yes.
it out or like
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
to clutter it away.
yeah. You
So I would,
have to build up the history.
yeah, so I would do like little boy
You're
searches.
like
I was
lemon bar recipes.
no, I was like, how would I was as an 8-year-old boy, I was like, how would an 8-year-old boy think? So I
Hot
started typing in,
Wheels.
I typed NFL, Eagles highlights, like anything where I could funnel out my
Straightest
That was literally what I would do. It was so
That's very
That
funny.
is so funny.
it was such a world.
We might need to chop out a chunk of the middle section or the beginning section to get to this part because this is the shit I wanted to talk about. Might be a two-parter.
We should. Have y'all done one yet? Have y'all done a two-parter?
Got plenty for
Or
Six-parter.
Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon. We've been thinking about doing a Patreon.
Yeah, do
Wait,
it.
and that
Patreon.
accent will make sense.
Patreon. When
in
the pilot
4 months
comes out. Yeah. When we get picked up.
A little Easter egg. Oh my god.
Should we close out? What time are we at?
hour
Whoa.
It is a
so
two-parter.
This
hot.
is a two-parter. This is a two-parter.
We have that kind of time.
Wow. Just me smoking. Fucking.
Yeah. It's entirely possible.
Okay. Before we go, Mato, do you have anything you want to plug? This will probably come out next week.
Anything to plug? New music coming soon. Yeah. Spotify, Apple Music, Mato Wayuhi. I'm on all the things. I have a show in Portland, June 21st.
June 21st,
I think
where?
this is
Shout
me
out.
announcing that. It's like an arts festival. I don't know. I'll have to-
That's
great.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be fun
And
doing
people
that.
can follow you online and know that.
Yes, at Mato Wayuhi. I'll be there. I do food reviews sometimes.
Oh,
for
great.
random
Actually, I
things.
love those. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I might have to anthologize them or something, make a book. I've been thinking about that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
A zine.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. A zine. But yeah, that's all about me. And then The Lowdown, September 23rd on FX and Hulu.
The lowdown.
Yep, you'll see me.
The next Harjo joint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of also to call back to the Oklahoma little misdirect. I've been spending a lot of time there.
That's why I thought you were from
Yeah, and
Shooting the lowdown.
and so I was there. One of my last days, I went to this shop. I forget what it's called, but I go in there and it's like bunch of cool T-shirts and stuff. And I clocked one when I was there a few days before. It said, "Someone in Oklahoma loves me." I was like, "That's so cute." So I was like, "I need to buy that." And so I bought it, and I'm walking out, and I see a woman, and she works on the show, and she's like, "Oh my God, you got that shirt?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really like it." And she's like, "Yeah, it's so cute. It's like a crop." And I was like, "What?" And then I put it on, and I didn't even know it was like a baby tee. And so,
Whoa.
and then and I have new music coming out soon, and I've really romanticized my relationship to Oklahoma, and so that's why it was all kind of.
Yeah. You rap Oklahoma in a way.
I think I tried
Oklahoma's
to.
Indian country.
It really
Yeah.
is. It's so weird.
It's
I
so weird
fucking
and
love it.
so Indian there.
It is so. Oh my God.
So native.
But yeah.
Brian,
Jana, do you have? Do you have any?
Do you have- I did think it was gonna go into a lily, but no,
I don't think so.
nothing coming up.
No.
I'm gonna plug, if you're in the LA area or surrounding, you should come to the LA Indian Flea Market, July 6th, Sunday, July 6th. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do some comedy that night, and it's also just like great shit to buy.
It's a cool time.
It's a cool time. I've been building up my beadwork. I'm gonna have some beadwork to sell and also clothes. Let's get into that flea life, y'all. Sustainable, ethical shopping.
Hell yeah. That's hot.
That's all the time we have.
If
We will not be issuing any refunds.
Brian, get your fucking script out. That's all the time we have today. We hope our wisdom made your life better, and if it didn't, we will not be issuing any refunds. Bam.
If you or anyone you know needs advice, has a question, or just wants to chat about something, leave us a message. There are 3 ways to do that, and you can find them in the show notes, and we'll give you our smudgiest, sagiest, solicited advice.
As always, we'd love for you to rate and review us on iTunes and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Thank you for tuning in.
Doksha.
How going?
Dope Shaw, okay. Thank you. Much love.
Banger.